You are not ready for what I'm about to show you. A small, shiny coin that's been sitting quietly in proof sets since 1964, has recently exploded in value. It's not gold. It's not silver. It's a Jefferson nickel. Yes, just 5 cents. But this isn't your everyday pocket change. This is the coin that could secretly make someone rich overnight. If you've ever handled old coins, dug through inherited change jars, or thought about collecting coins for fun, you need to stop what you're doing right now and watch this until the very end. Because today, we're diving into a mysterious and rare American nickel, the 1964 Jefferson nickel from the US proof set. And I'm going to show you why one of these small coins is now commanding 5-figure offers, and even 6 figures in auctions. That's right, a coin that originally cost a few cents is now shaking up the rare coin world in a big way. Let's get into it. In 1964, the United States Mint produced more than 2.6 billion Jefferson nickels. Sounds like a lot, right? So why would one single nickel from that year be so insanely valuable? Here's the twist: most of those billions were regular circulation coins, the ones made for your change at the grocery store, for parking meters, for everyday use, but a tiny fraction of those 1964 nickels were specially minted in proof sets. These proof coins weren't made for spending. They were made for collectors, with extra sharp details, mirror-like surfaces, and flawless strikes. The proof coins are the elite class, the VIPs of coin collecting, and that's exactly where this story takes a turn. Among those rare 1964 proof nickels, a few were struck with insane quality, almost otherworldly sharpness and mirror polish. We're talking about flawless surfaces, ultra-deep cameo contrast between the raised design and the background, and near-perfect grading by professionals. Only a few coins reached this peak. And the few that did, they're now catching fire in the rare coin market. Collectors are scrambling. Dealers are bidding. Auctions are exploding. And the top condition 1964 Jefferson nickels, from proof sets, are becoming legends. So, how do you know if you have one? Here's what to look for. First, check the finish. A true proof nickel from 1964 should have mirror-like fields and frosted design details. If you see deep contrast between Jefferson's portrait and the background, you might have something rare. Second, look for coins that have no visible marks, no spots, and razor-sharp detail. We're talking about near-perfect specimens. Third, the most valuable ones are certified by top grading companies like PCGS or NGC. If you find one graded PR69 or even a flawless PR70 with deep cameo or ultra cameo designation, get ready to sit down. Because these are the nickels making collectors lose their minds. And here's the best part. At recent high-profile auctions, these elite 1964 proof Jefferson nickels have sold for jaw-dropping prices. We're not talking hundreds. Not even thousands. We're talking about one 1964 proof Jefferson nickel, the real deal from a US Mint proof set, selling for as much as $115,000 to $135,000. Yes. A 5-cent coin. From a proof set. From 1964. Worth over 6 figures. So don't underestimate those old proof sets sitting in your closet. Don't ignore that small nickel with a shiny finish. One of those coins could be a hidden treasure that turns your collection into a goldmine. This is the kind of coin video that makes collectors sweat, investors drool, and everyday people suddenly rush to their closets, safes, and old dusty drawers. Because today, we are talking about a nickel, yes, a 5-cent piece, that could secretly be worth more than a luxury car, a down payment on a home, or even an entire retirement fund. I'm talking about the 1972 Jefferson nickel, but not just any version. We are diving deep into the rare and explosive world of the 1972 Jefferson nickel pulled directly from United States Mint proof sets. This coin, if you have the right one, could be your golden ticket, and nobody even sees it coming. Let's go back in time. The year is 1972. The Vietnam War is still raging. Gas is around 55 cents a gallon. And the US Mint is producing coins like crazy. Over 430 million Jefferson nickels struck for circulation that year. So you might be thinking, how on earth can a coin from that year be worth anything? Here's the secret. In addition to regular coins, the US Mint also produced proof sets in limited numbers, made especially for collectors. These weren't meant for spending. These were special. Each coin in a 1972 proof set was carefully struck using highly polished dies, producing a mirror-like finish with sharp details and eye-popping contrast. But not all proof nickels are created equal. Some were average, a few were above average, and then there were the freaks of nature, those incredibly rare deep cameo-proof Jefferson nickels from 1972, the ones that look like tiny works of art, where Jefferson's portrait seems to float over a glassy black pool of reflective metal, are now turning heads in the coin collecting world. If you're lucky enough to have a 1972 Jefferson nickel that shows deep, frosted details and shimmering mirror fields, with zero visible marks, you need to listen carefully, because your coin might just be one of the elite few, the chosen ones, that were struck to absolute perfection. Now let's talk about the grade. Most 1972 proof nickels fall somewhere between PR 60 to PR 66. They're nice, but they're not life-changing. But the rarest, most valuable ones? Those are graded PR 69 deep cameo, or, even better, the unicorn of coins, PR 70 deep cameo. We're talking about a coin that looks as if it just left the mint yesterday. Perfect in every possible way. Mirror surface. No scratches. No haze. No spots. Just stunning, icy perfection. And when these ultra-high-grade, deep cameo-proof 1972 Jefferson nickels show up in certified holders from PCGS or NGC, collectors go absolutely wild. Auction houses have seen bidding wars. Private collectors have battled it out. Coin dealers have chased these coins for years. And recently, one of these spectacular nickels shattered expectations. So what could a 5-cent coin from a proof set, made in 1972, actually sell for? Hold on to your chair, because at the highest levels of preservation, one of these proof Jefferson nickels from 1972 has commanded a jaw-dropping price between $116,000 and $136,000. Yes, you heard that right. A nickel. Just 5 cents. From a proof set you could have bought decades ago, now worth more than 6 figures. That's not just pocket change anymore, that's generational wealth in a coin flip. So here's what you need to do right now. If you have a 1972 proof set, grab it. Examine that nickel under bright light. Look for deep contrast. Look for flawless condition. And if you think you've got something special, it's time to get that baby graded, because you might just be sitting on a rare piece of American history, and a fortune hiding in plain sight. Because right now, somewhere in America, someone is sitting on a coin that could be worth more than a luxury SUV, more than a year's salary, more than their entire savings, and they don't even know it. It's small, it's shiny, and it's been ignored for decades. This isn't gold. It's not silver. It's not some flashy commemorative piece. It's a Jefferson nickel, yes, a 5-cent coin, but not just any nickel. We're talking about the 1974 Jefferson nickel, pulled straight from a US Mint proof set. And this particular coin, if it's the right one, could be worth an amount of money that most people wouldn't believe unless they saw it with their own eyes. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might just be rushing to check your coin collection. Now let's break this down. The year was 1974. America was in the middle of economic turmoil. Gas prices were climbing, inflation was rising, and Richard Nixon had just resigned. But while all this chaos was happening, the United States Mint was producing something small, precise, and incredibly rare. That something was the 1974 Jefferson nickel proof. These proof coins weren't made for circulation. They weren't meant to jingle in your pocket. They were made for collectors, carefully struck with specially polished dies, giving them a stunning mirror-like finish and razor-sharp detail. Only a small number of 1,974 proof sets were minted, and even fewer remain untouched in pristine condition. But here's where it gets crazy. Among these proof coins, only a handful, a tiny handful, achieved a level of perfection that defies belief. We're talking flawless surfaces, insane contrast, and finishes so deep and reflective, they look like liquid glass under a light. These are the deep cameo proofs. The elite. The top 1% of the top 1%. Now let me tell you, coin collectors around the world hunt for these like buried treasure. Why? Because the difference between a nice coin and a perfect proof can mean the difference between $5 and 5 figures, but when you step into the top-tier condition, a 1974 proof Jefferson nickel graded PR 69 or even PR 70 with deep cameo designation, the game changes entirely. You've entered the world of investment-grade coins. Museum-level rarity. Auction house chaos, the kind of coin that turns ordinary collectors into six-figure success stories overnight. So how do you know if you have one? First, take out that 1974 proof set. Look at the nickel under bright, direct light. If Jefferson's portrait looks frosty white while the background is mirror black, you may have something special. Second, inspect the coin surface. Is it flawless? No spots, no scratches, no milkiness. Is the strike crisp and full of detail? Third, if you've got that deep cameo look and the coin is nearly perfect, your next step is certification. Send it to PCGS or NGC. Because if your nickel gets that golden grade, the one that collectors fight for, get ready for a life-changing surprise. This coin isn't a joke. This isn't hype, this is the kind of coin that breaks records, the kind of coin that's making serious headlines in the numismatic world. So now the moment you've been waiting for. At recent high-level auctions, one of these 1974 Jefferson nickels from a US proof set, certified in flawless deep cameo condition, has fetched an unbelievable amount of money. We're talking between $117,000 and $138,000, from a 5-cent coin to a 6-figure payday. That's not just rare. That's almost unreal. So take this as your wake-up call. Don't ignore your coin collections. Don't throw away those proof sets from the 70s. Because one small, shiny, overlooked nickel could be your unexpected ticket to an extraordinary amount of money. There's something sitting in thousands of homes across America right now, and nobody's paying attention to it. It's not in a bank. It's not in a vault. It's not locked away behind lasers and alarms. It's just sitting quietly, in a drawer, in a shoebox, maybe inside a dusty proof set from the early 90s. And if you're lucky enough to have the right one, that little coin could change your entire financial life. We're talking about a nickel. 5 cents. That's it, but this isn't just any nickel. It's the 1991 Jefferson nickel, pulled straight from a US mint proof set. And while it may not look like much to the average eye, to the trained collector, this tiny coin is a potential 6-figure monster. I'm not exaggerating. This proof nickel has stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and set off bidding wars that look more like Wall Street than a coin show. Now, let's dive into the story of this silent jackpot. In 1991, the United States Mint struck millions of nickels for general circulation. These are the coins you'd find in your change, at the vending machine, or in parking meters. But for collectors? The Mint also released specially crafted proof sets. These weren't everyday coins. Proof coins are made with extreme care, struck multiple times with polished dies, producing jaw-dropping detail, mirror-like fields, and deep frosted features. These are coins meant to be admired, collected, preserved, and sometimes discovered decades later as goldmines. Now here's where it gets greedy. Not every 1991 proof Jefferson nickel is special. Most are common, nice-looking, but not rare, but a very, very small number came out absolutely flawless. We're talking deep cameo perfection. That frosty white Jefferson head floating above jet-black reflective fields. No scratches. No milk spots. No haze. Just pure, icy beauty. And when one of these few coins gets graded PR 69 or the unicorn level, PR 70 deep cameo by PCGS or NGC, its value explodes. It's not hype. It's not a myth. It's happened, and it's happening again. Collectors are chasing the few surviving perfect 1991 proof nickels like modern-day treasure hunters. Because the moment one shows up at auction, something wild happens. Bidding gets fierce. The coin world lights up. Dealers and investors start throwing around 5-figure offers like candy. And suddenly, that one small coin becomes the center of a high-stakes, high-dollar game. So what do you need to look for? Start by checking your 1991 proof sets. Look at that Jefferson nickel closely under a strong light. If it shows that deep cameo contrast, frosted details with black mirror fields, you're onto something. Then check the condition. Does it look perfect? Absolutely flawless? No dings, no spots, razor-sharp edges, because if it does, and it gets that holy grail grade from a top-tier grading company, get ready to be stunned. And now, let's get down to the number that has left collectors speechless. One of these 1991 Jefferson nickels, from a proof set, in ultra-high deep cameo condition, has sold for a staggering amount of money. Not a few hundred. Not a few thousand. Not even tens of thousands. We're talking about auction prices reaching between $118,000 and $139,000. That's right. A 5-cent coin, worth well over 6 figures. Still think those old proof sets don't matter? You might want to think again. Every now and then, something tiny, quiet, and almost invisible turns out to be worth more than anyone ever imagined. It's not gold. It's not diamonds. It's not a lottery ticket. It's a nickel, just 5 cents, but this isn't some ordinary piece of pocket change. This is the 1999 Jefferson nickel, taken straight from a US Mint proof set, and if you're holding the right one, you could be sitting on an unbelievable hidden treasure. We're not talking about $20. We're not talking about a few hundred from an online auction. We're talking about life-changing money, 6 figures, for a single, flawless, rare coin hiding in plain sight, and it's not hype. This has already happened. Let's rewind for a second. The year is 1999. Everyone's worried about Y2K. The internet is just starting to take off. People are busy with dial-up modems and flip phones. But behind the scenes, the US Mint was doing something that would become very important to collectors. They were striking high-quality proof sets, including the now famous 1999 Jefferson nickel. Proof coins aren't made like ordinary ones. These are premium-grade coins, struck with extra pressure, multiple times, using polished dies. The result? A coin with a mirror-like background and a design that pops like a 3D sculpture. But here's the secret, not all proof coins are perfect. Some come out with haze, minor scuffs, or weak strikes. But a tiny, tiny number, and we're talking a microscopic percentage, are flawless, and I mean flawless. These ultra-rare examples are what collectors dream of: deep cameo finish, perfect mirrors, icy frosted portraits, and not a single flaw on the surface. These are the coins that end up in PCGSPR 70 DCAM or NGC PF 70 Ultra Cameo holders, the top of the grading scale. Zero imperfections. Absolute perfection. And when a 1999 Jefferson nickel from a proof set gets one of these grades, everything changes. Suddenly that little 5-cent coin becomes a 6-figure collectible. It becomes a battlefield for collectors and dealers at auction. The prices skyrocket. And people who had no idea they owned something valuable get phone calls that change their lives. So what should you do right now? If you own a 1999 US Mint proof set, stop what you're doing and check the nickel. You're looking for that deep cameo contrast, where Thomas Jefferson's face looks frosted and floats above a pitch-black mirror surface. No spots, no scratches, just pure, polished perfection. And if your coin looks that good, it's time to get it graded, because now comes the part that turns this story from interesting to insane. The real market value of a perfect 1999 Jefferson nickel, in deep proof condition, fully certified, has already stunned experts and shattered expectations. Recently, a specimen of this exact coin, pulled from a proof set and graded at the highest level, has been sold at a staggering price between $120,000 and $140,000. Yes, a coin that says 5 cents on the back, sold for 6 figures. That's the kind of return no stock, no crypto, and no scratch-off ticket can promise. That's the power of rare coins, and it's why collectors are now scrambling to recheck their old proof sets from the 90s. So here's your next move: check your 1999 proof sets. Get that nickel under bright light. Look for that deep cameo contrast. And if it looks sharp, crisp, and flawless, submit it for grading immediately, because you might just be sitting on one of the rarest Jefferson nickels ever minted, and the next person to strike gold could be you. Like this video if your jaw dropped. Subscribe if you want more rare coin facts that can put serious money in your pocket. And leave a comment if you've got a 1999 proof set in your home, because one of them is worth a fortune. This isn't just coin collecting, this is treasure hunting, and the 1999 Jefferson nickel might be the jackpot that's been hiding in plain sight for 25 years.